Hi, everyone. I'm Jack.
And I'm Jill.
And welcome to the We Bought a Franchise podcast. We've been gone a couple of weeks. Did you miss us?
I'm sure they were missing us.
You know they were missing us.
Of course.
I know because I read your messages. We are so excited, you guys, over all the positive feedback about the We Bought a Franchise podcast. And the overwhelming feedback we've received is that, one, you guys love our guests, and how can you not? But two, you still want us to sprinkle in what our experiences are running a franchise, running our Pinks franchise. So that's what we're here to do today. We do have many more exciting guests planned for you guys down the road. But for today, Jill and I are just going to talk about where we are in our Pinks franchise business, what's been happening over the past few weeks. And Jill, where to begin?
So, it's been like the quickest 2-3 week period I feel like we've ever gone through. Like it went by so fast, but we got so much in and so much happened. So we have a lot to share with you guys. So hopefully you're cool with just us today.
Yeah. And so we took a vacation. We went, as soon as Trey was finished with school, we went to Hawaii, and we were there for, I think, about a week and a half. And then we were also on the West Coast, but just to kind of dive right in, leading up to going on vacation, our Pinks business was really just kicking ass.
Yeah.
Getting to where, the whole plan with a window, and for all of you listening, if this is your first time or you're a longtime listener, we're not here to try and sell you a Pinks franchise, but we're here to share with you our experiences running a Pinks franchise, here to give you our perspective as franchise owners. So here's kind of the deal on window washing franchises and power washing. You want to get your van, your window washing, power washing van, to about $1,000 per day, $5,000 a week, and then you order a second van. So on the
easy math there.
Easy math, simple numbers. I like simple numbers, simple KPIs. So on the 8th week of our business, we achieved that. And then the next week we did 6,000 and the business was growing like crazy. But then all of a sudden, everybody in South Florida, school got out, massive storm came in, and our business went down while we were sitting on a beach in Hawaii.
To be fair, if it's pouring rain, do you want your windows washed?
Right.
Absolutely not. And do we want our guys out there in the rain? Absolutely not. So it makes sense. And it was like Florida gets rain almost every single day, but this was like a serious 2 weeks
Big
now.
Storm.
Fortunately, we missed the whole thing because we were in Hawaii on the beach. But here, obviously, it was disgusting and it was rainy. And so all of the jobs that we had canceled or postponed.
Most of them.
Postponed.
We had a few that we got on Monday, but then Tuesday through Friday we're pretty lean.
So it's one of those unexpected things where even if you have it on the books or things are looking good, anything can happen.
Especially during the first 18 months of business, you're going to see some ups and downs. You're going to see some big highs and you're going to see some lows, and a business needs time to stabilize. And for any of you out there who are, thinking about becoming business owners, no matter what franchise you're looking at, you really need to plan during the first 18 months of business. Your business just needs time.
Yeah.
And that's what we've seen now. What's interesting is, there's a couple of things. So obviously we're growing ahead of schedule. We love that. And for any of you out there following our franchise, following Pinks, you know that it's been featured on the show Hitman. The guy actually he becomes a Pinks guy in his role as a hitman.
Well, to be fair, we haven't even finished the movie. I don't know if he does it again or not, but we made it through like the first 10 minutes.
Yeah. We try to watch shows and we last about 10 minutes.
We're
and fall asleep.
Party animals.
We're those people.
We just cannot stay awake past 10 o'clock. But anyway, it was very cool to see. So maybe there's more in the movie. I have no idea, but just to see it even for like a few seconds was super cool.
Yeah. Well, and then today comes the news, and today is what is this, Jill? The 26th of June. Codie Sanchez, renowned Codie Sanchez, business investor, really sort of changing people's perspective on being able to buy businesses, boring Main Street businesses. She just became an investor in Resi Brands. She's wearing a Pinks hat in her announcement. So we're really excited about that. Just, proof positive that a lot of people see what we see as Pinks investors. And by the way, if you are interested in becoming a Pinks franchise owner, please come to us first, because we can get you a better deal than if you go to them direct. So text us 305-710-0050. Okay, let's get off the Pinks commercial and back to running a business. So here we are, we're in Hawaii. By the way, the minute we land in Hawaii, one of our former employees starts texting me trying to
Gibberish.
stage a coup to take over for our current GM.
Let's just say fun drama.
Yeah. It certainly made that first Mai Tai that much more rewarding.
Yeah, it was, you know what? But I'm watching Jack and he's like, dealing with this, talking to our GM, unnecessary drama, which is fine. It's an employee, so we don't have to worry about, customers at this point. And, but I'm watching him and he's like on the beach in Hawaii doing it. I mean, this is like, again, this is where we look at like business ownership and how cool this is to be able to do this. You're not sitting in an office. We didn't have to cancel anything. Yeah, I mean, you didn't go in the ocean with Trey and I for those like, few minutes you're on the phone, but like even just watching him on the phone with this like amazing background was just like, this is it, like this is what we've always dreamed of.
I mean, it's proof positive that you can run a business from your phone.
Yeah.
If you put the
from
right
anywhere
infrastructure in place.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what else happened this week while we're off in Hawaii. So with the storm, we lost a lot of business, but in comes a new client who is a property manager who says, hey, I've got a need for 11 properties to be window washed every 2 weeks and pressure washed every month. And so while, yes, we had a bad week of business, our GM was able to close a huge deal that is worth $50,000 a year to us. So again, folks, this is business ownership, highs and lows, ups and downs.
You never know what's around the corner,
right?
And so you can be like wallowing in something that's going wrong and the weather's bad and we're losing all these jobs. And then, 10 minutes later, you sign a massive, deal. Right. And so you just got to keep going. I mean, we keep saying that, move on really quickly from the bad things, problem solve as fast as you can, but also know that anything's around the corner. So, you do get the highs and lows, but that makes it, interesting. Fun,
I think so.
Keeps you going.
Yeah.
And you have to remind yourself in the lows that there will be something coming up. So, I mean, that's one of those things. It's so hard to get discouraged, especially in your first 18 months, because you want to see everything. And, we always try to tell everyone, listen, don't expect anything your first 18 months. It's going to be up and down. You're not necessarily going to be profitable. Mm-hmm. It's going to be hard. So, make sure when you're in those moments to really just like take a breath and know that this is temporary and that you've got to keep building. It's so easy to want to quit during those times. And you absolutely can't. Like, It's not a question. Absolutely not.
So, I mean, again, it's why do we do it then if it's hard in the beginning? And the answer is once the business grows and provides stability, and essentially what you want to do as a franchise owner is make it so the business can run without you.
Yeah.
So that's why Jill and I feel completely comfortable, traveling, taking care of business with our other company, the Franchise Insiders, because we know we've got the infrastructure in place. So just as we mentioned, having a former employee cause trouble, we had just found a great new tech to join the team who's just been a great addition. So, as a business owner, you're always thinking ahead. So we're always, I would say at least every couple of weeks running an ad in Indeed to look for new people to join our team. I would say with almost any business, you should always be looking for talent, always be looking for talent. You want to be prepared. It's like I was talking to someone the other day about a senior care business, a business that provides caregivers to provide companionship to seniors who might be struggling with dementia or mobility. And I said, ideally with a business like that, you want to have 2 caregivers available to every 1 client.
Because someone will call in sick,
right,
or something happens. And as the employer, you want to be like, sensitive that these things come up because we know they've come up with us too.
That's why
so you always have to do that. And same even with our techs. We could have the best tech in the world, so wonderful, never want to replace someone, but they have a tragedy in the family or something happens or they get injured or something. So always having sort of that backup.
Even going back to our trip, we were when we went between Oahu and Maui, we were supposed to be on an airplane. Airplane's broken. They send us across the hall. There's another airplane waiting. We got right on that plane.
Yeah.
So be prepared. Backup. Yeah, they had a backup. Kudos to you, Southwest Airlines.
Good comparison.
And that's another thing, you guys, just sort of speaking as business owners. So for our businesses, we use So you might say, well, why'd you fly Southwest Airlines? Well, we have a Southwest Airlines credit card. And for our business and certain things we spend on that credit card, and we have a ton of points. So we can book flights that don't cost us money. And one of my favorite things about being a business owner, and I was talking to someone about this while we were there, is that generally the thing that Jill and I struggle with on vacation, well, one is where are we going to eat that night, right? That's a big decision.
That's the hardest decision.
What are we going to do? But the other one typically, especially in Hawaii, is can we spend one more week?
Every time, you guys. Every time
I never want to come
we're
home.
in Hawaii, this one says, let's stay longer. Let's extend our trip.
Yeah.
I mean, and not this trip, but the past 2 trips that we went on, we did.
Yeah.
We did. We were one of those crazy people that were like, let's just stay. Now, we were fortunate because we run our own business from home, so we could do that. Trey was younger, so we didn't have to worry about, school absences and that kind of thing. But we can if we want to.
Yep. We have multiple times.
Yeah.
And as business owners, we always can do it. We want to stay. Our businesses will run without us. When we worked in corporate America, no way. I mean, I remember our first time we went to Hawaii, I had 3 days off.
Yeah.
3 days off. And it was just like, it was such a rush. So again, just giving you guys a little glimpse into our world as business owners, these are things that are important to Jill and I. It doesn't mean that, you may listen to that and say, I don't care about that. That doesn't matter. And that's totally cool. But to us, having the freedom to travel, to still make money while we work, that was my biggest pain point as an employee. Was
mine too.
Every penny I made, every penny we made was from our 9 to 5. And that just fundamentally didn't make sense to me, to us. And we both said, we want to make money even when we're not working. And that's why we own 2 businesses. And that's why we find that sometimes the little bumps in the road that we get, they're worth it ultimately.
Oh, they make it entertaining.
They do. We get a lot of entertainment out of it.
You know what? Something I know about Jack is that when things get difficult is when you're at your best. So when things start to slow down, that's when the ideas come. How do we make this better? What could we do? And we have some really cool things coming up that we'll share with you guys that came from that. Some issues that we came across with Pinks, of challenges of certain jobs we couldn't do because there were certain limitations. And then it allows us to come up with ideas and new things. You need that for your growth. And at the time, it may feel really frustrating because something's not going the right way, or sales are low, or employees are turning over, but it really puts you in that position to really think outside the box and think of okay, what can we do next? And I think, for instance, for us, that, rainy week, we're going to be more prepared when we know this. We're going to look at the weather if we can. We're going to make backup plans. I think our guys could even call and be proactive and say, hey, it's going to rain next week. Can I get you on the schedule for 2 weeks? Or, something to that effect. And then also knowing now, once we go through it for a year, what is seasonality like in Florida? So these are all things that within those first 18 months that you learn, but also if you learn from them and you grow from them, you can only be better. So if we know that June is kind of a dead period and we're looking at a lot of storms, we need to come up with a plan for next June to book things in advance or do some kind of maintenance plan and, just be able to kind of think on our feet to do that next year. So that's what's really cool. But I will tell you that I feel like the hard times are really when some of the best ideas come about.
I mean, I agree. I mean, I think the best entrepreneurs thrive on pressure.
For sure.
Yeah, you need it. I think, look, it's not for everyone. I don't know if I'm the first person to say this, but I think you have to be a people person. I think you have to be willing to lead a team. I think you have to be urgent about getting sales. You really need to be thinking about 3, 6, 9, like Jill said, 12 months down the road. By the way, we already have $100,000 worth of business booked for next year. So we're, that's a cool thing. That's what I like about our franchises. We have that kind of subscription.
It's not, window washing isn't like a one and done. It's you want to get people on a maintenance plan. You want to get people to, first of all, love what you do, but also, hey, we're going to come back every 4 months. We're going to make it easy. You don't have to think about it. We got you on the calendar. I mean, we do that with our dryer guy. I love the dryer guy because it's something I never think of is cleaning my dryer vents. And he has me on a schedule and he calls me when it's 6 months and he needs to come in
That's a
and he needs
franchise
to
too.
do it. It's amazing. And it's helpful for me because I don't have to think about it. He's there. He's put us on the schedule. He's got us on a good maintenance plan. Hopefully our dryer won't catch on fire
Right.
because, we're on top of it.
I mean, again, it's there's different types of businesses, right? So our franchise Pinks is from a company called Resi Brands. They have another brand called That One Painter, and That One Painter's average sales $5,000. Our average sales $350. But a painting job probably only happens once every couple of years. They've got the data on that, but we can, we'll probably get on at least a quarterly plan with someone. So, again, all these businesses, it tends to be, if you look at That One Painter, their average revenue per, territory is probably $1 million. Pink's average revenue per territory is about 900,000. Our net profit margin's a little higher than That One Painter because we don't have as much materials, but it's kind of 6 or half dozen.
Mm-hmm.
Most of these businesses, most good franchises can get you to a net of 100 to 200,000 and a gross of somewhere between, let's say, well, really 600,000 and $1 million. And you can pretty much, if you really want to be smart, you can find a franchise that can net you $200,000 a year eventually. Give it patience during the first 18 months, folks. For an investment as low as $150K, including the franchise fee. So for those of you listening, you don't have to own a McDonald's. You don't have to own a brick and mortar. I mean, we pay $85 a month in rent because frankly, we don't want our guys in the office.
Right. And our vans are like our offices and they're running around. So they're marketing. They're in itself, you see the van and the van always attracts people. So that's great.
And we're about to order our second van, which we're
I
excited
was going to
about.
surprise them with that.
Well, there's some top secret stuff about that, but that's what you do, right? You get to that first thing, and
right. And I think that's a good point. Since you did say that, and we'll talk about it more, I think maybe next time. But we just said we just came off a couple hard weeks, but we're still going to get our next van. We're still probably going to get that next van. So that's a really hard thing to even digest. Where you're saying, wait a second, but we're not. We just came off these hard weeks. We're not necessarily hitting our numbers, but we're going to put more money into this. I mean, that is something that you'll see happen often. And it's hard. It's hard. It's hard at the time to agree to that and look at it. But in the end, that's what's better for the company. We need to be forward facing.
I mean, so Jill and I are originally from the West Coast. This is kind of new to us. In California and Washington, summer's the best time.
Right. That's like when you need your windows clean because it's beautiful.
You want to be there.
Yeah.
South Florida, as soon as school's out, all these families bail.
Yeah.
Like we just talked to a owner of a local ice cream establishment.
Yeah.
And she said, for the first month after school's out, it's ghost town.
Yeah.
And we've experienced that. And you know what? I'm going to give kudos to Pinks because I was able to get on with one of the founders and talk to them and just say, look, when you guys first started, what was it like? Did you experience ups and downs? And he said, of course I did. And he actually was able to go in to his P&L and say, here's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you guys again, if they're, it's like, I'll always think about when Jill and I bought our first house and I was so scared. I was like, I'm not going to do it. And I called my dad and my dad's like, listen, it's no big deal. You're fine. You can do it. And, he steadied me, right? He helped me gain the confidence. And I feel like I had the same thing with Brandon from Pinks. I was able to call him and say, is this okay? Do I keep pushing forward? And he said, like, yes, keep pushing forward. When you own a franchise, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. Mm-hmm. And for those of you like us who need a little extra emotional support as we grow, I mean, we're human beings just like you guys. I mean, we love doing this, but we love the support. We love the business in a box aspect franchising brings.
Yeah. We've experienced both sides. We own our own business, Franchise Insiders. So we're kind of the only ones there. Right?
Yep.
And then we have this, and it's nice to have this too. It's nice to have someone to kind of reassure you and run ideas by. And, and I think for many people who are looking to buy a franchise, it's their first, segue into being an entrepreneur and a business owner. This is why you do it, because you have the support, you have the people are there cheering you on. Your franchisor wants you to succeed. It's not a competition. Your success is their success. So they're going to do everything that they can to help you. And yes, some are better than others. Mm-hmm. And we're very fortunate with Pinks and Resi. But, they don't want their franchisees to do poorly. So they're really going to be there to support you. So that's key in this.
100%.
So if you're nervous about starting a business or being a business owner, you have a team behind you, but you also get the recognition of being a business owner.
Yeah. But just to give you guys a hard dose of reality, not every franchisee is going to succeed.
Right.
10% of them not going to succeed. They're going to want to sell. That's okay. When we mentor people as franchise consultants, we say that's your opportunity.
Yeah.
Be an A student. Yeah. And when that neighbor wants to sell,
right,
you can buy them.
Yeah.
Most people that buy franchises within it, I mean, again, people who are buying franchise resales are other franchisees. That tells you guys something.
Yeah.
It's not people saying, oh, damn, this sucked buying a franchise. Again, look at it. Jill and I were 4,000 miles away running a business from our smartphone, 2 businesses that kept churning. That's great because you have all these layers of infrastructure. So to all of you out there wanting to keep your job as you run a business, or you have another business, or you just want more personal freedom, you can do it.
Yeah.
But invest in your infrastructure and get the franchise that knows how to do it. But that's a whole other, I never see anyone talk about this. A whole other plan for growth. Even if you're going into a territory that's mainly sold out, I guarantee you, like Dallas, for example, we have a client right now looking at a franchise, a different brand in Dallas, and 90% of Dallas is sold out. And they're saying, man, we just feel like we have scraps. And I'm saying, look, get in. It's a good proven brand. Put your head down, grow the business to profitability. Someone in that market's going to need to sell.
Yeah.
Or they're going to want to sell.
Or they want to buy you.
Yeah. Or maybe they buy you.
Right.
Maybe you can flip.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can look at it that way too.
Yeah. That's a good point. Mm-hmm. It's a good point. So point is that, nothing's guaranteed, but it ultimately, I'll bet the amount of people in the country that make 7 figures are not working for someone else. Wouldn't you agree?
Probably.
I don't think most people, for those of you out there, if you make 7 figures and you work for a company, please text me 305-710-0050. I'd love to hear what you do. But most of the millionaires are business owners.
Yeah.
It's a much faster way.
Yeah.
I mean, Jill and I know we were worth like $10,000 when we started as entrepreneurs. Maybe less. Maybe it was minus 10,000. But it's true. That's what it is. So, you guys, we're trying to bring you the kind of the realness here of what owning a business is.
The bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, this is what you asked for. But again, I think it's proof positive that running a franchise, one, is not it's not hard. There are things that are going to pop up. Like as soon as you land in Hawaii, you're going to get a text message. You're going to need to put a fire out. That's okay. You do it. You still make your dinner reservation. We
were able to get it all done.
Yeah. So. And then what I would say is that, again, it's all this stuff. Then you have a bad week of sales, but here now okay, so what did we lose that week? Maybe $3,500. But then we gained an account that's going to make us $55,000 over the next 12 months.
It balances out. So look long-term.
Yeah, that's it.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Move on. Get better.
That's the fun of business ownership.
Yeah.
We've got some exciting guests coming up for you guys. In a couple of weeks, we are going to have one of the founders of Go Glow, which is a tanning franchise, Jill, that I'm telling you guys, sunless tanning.
Very cute.
Jill, do people, even in sunny communities, use sunless tanning?
Well, no one wants to actually be in the sun because of the sun damage and the wrinkles and all of that. So yeah, you almost need it more in sunny. You need it more everywhere, but even in hot, sunny places like Florida, you need it because you need to look like you're from Florida, but you really don't want to go out in the sun. I mean, I would say majority of the people I know that are out at the pool are covered head to toe, but they have a beautiful tan. Why is that? From
sunless tanning.
So
July 10th, we are going to have one of the founders of Go Glow, and it's a franchise. Despite it being brick and mortar, it's selling at a pretty good pace. So be sure to tune in. But that's all I have for this week for the We Bought a Franchise podcast. What about you, Jill?
I mean, same. I think thank you guys for your feedback, and we're going to do a mixture of having guests on and then just us. But anytime there's anything you want us to talk about, email us, text us, call us, whatever. Let us know in the comments, whatever you feel comfortable doing. But we want to know what you guys want to see too. So, any feedback you can give us is great.
So just go to weboughtafranchise.com. You can subscribe there. Text us at 305-710-0050. Those are the two places where you can find us. This podcast, of course, is in all the places that you might watch or listen to a podcast. And we appreciate you guys. And we don't really have a guest this week. Normally we sign off with
No, so we'll just have to say it.
Okay, I'm Jack.
I'm Jill.
And we bought a franchise. See you next time.
Bye.